Hey class, it's Brett Carter, and I'm going to talk to you about SSH and the best practices and implementation of each. Alright, about SSH. SSH stands for Secure Shell, and sometimes known as Secure Socket Shell, and it is a Unix-based command interface and protocol for securely getting access to a remote computer. It is widely used by network administrators to control web and other kinds of servers remotely. SSH is actually a suite of 3 utilities: slogin, SSH, and SCP, and they are secure versions of the earlier Unix utilities rlogin, RSH, and RCP. SSH commands are encrypted and secured in several ways. Both ends of the client/server connection are authenticated using a digital certificate, and passwords are protected by being encrypted. SSH uses RSA public key cryptography for both connection and authentication. Encryption algorithms include Blowfish, DS, and IDEA, and IDEA is the default. The latest version is SSH2, and it is a proposed set of standards from the Internet Engineering Task Force. Alright, best practices and implementation of SSH. Okay, the first one is disable Open SSH server. Workstations and laptops can work without Open SSH server. If you don't need to provide the remote login and transfer capabilities of SSH, you disable and remove the SSHD server. CentOS, RHEL, and Fedora Linux users can disable and remove Open SSH servers with the yum command. 2. Only use SSH Protocol 2. SSH Protocol version 1 has man-in-the-middle attack problems and security vulnerabilities. SSH1 is obsolete and should be avoided at all costs. Number 3. Limit users' SSH access. By default, all system users can log in via SSH using their password or public key. Sometimes you create Unix or Linux user accounts for FTP or email purposes. However, those users can log into system using SSH. They will have full access to system tools, including compilers and scripting languages such as Perl, Python, which can open network ports and do many other fancy things. So number 4, configure idle logout timeout interval. Users can log into servers via SSH, and you can set an idle timeout interval to avoid unintended SSH sessions. Number 5, disable host-based authentication. To disable host-based authentication, update SSHD_config with the following: host-based authentication, no. And that's the command you would use. Number 6, disable root login via SSH. There's no need to log in as a root via SSH over network. Normal users can use su or sudo to gain root level access. This also makes sure you get full auditing information about who ran privileged commands on the system via sudo. To disable root login via SSH, update SSHD_config with permit root login no. And that's the command you would use. Number 7, enable warning banner, and this is done by updating SSHD_config with banner/etc/issue. Alright, number 7, firewall SSH port number 22. You need to firewall SSH port number 22 by updating IP tables or PF firewall configurations. Usually open SSH servers must only accept connections from your LAN or other remote WAN sites only. And finally, number 8, my bad. Change SSH port and limit IP binding. By default, SSH listens to all available interfaces and IP addresses on the system. So limit SSH port binding and change SSH port. And this concludes my presentation on SSH. So thank you for listening.